Hello everybody, Jason Basson here, back in the house. And did you see, thanks for watching, and did you see already my 50 great records from my private collection? That was my previous video. Now I'm making for Pentecost a second video, special video for this long, nice, fine Pentecost weekend, long weekend. So now I'm gonna do a very nice video, but first we're gonna drink something. The good Belgian beer. It's a red beer, a Max. I like it a lot. So we're gonna do a second video, and that's about, I must arrange my fingers like this. The middle finger is the Dangerous 40 nice debut albums. It are not the 40 best debut albums in the music history, it are the 40 debut albums that I have in my collection, to get that correct, so that there is no discussion here underneath this video. Hey, and you had not said the debut album of the Doors. Hey, you didn't say the debut album of Killing Joke. So no, I don't have those albums, so I just show the 4 debut albums from my collection, okay? And did you see it in my first video? There were records behind me. That were records that I will now show to you. And these records, which are now behind me here, we see here a Virgin Prunes, Tuxedo Moon, the Clinic, Motorhead. That were the records that were in the, some of the records that were in my first video of the 50 great records. Okay, then we gonna start now with the first records. It's from the first records that I'm gonna show you now are from Belgium, my home country, and this is the debut album of the New Inspiration, Inspirated. They were very big at the end of this, in the 60s, the last part of the 60s. On this album you had a song, You Made a Fool of Me, that was a hit. They had many hits at the end of the 60s, very early 70s. They were on the same label as the Rolling Stones, Decca. Maybe they have played the Ford program of the Rolling Stones in the 60s and 60s, I don't know, maybe some people know that here. You can leave it here beneath the video. So the New Inspiration from Ghent. These are still busy. They made really great records. This was the best record of Belgium in 1981. 'S'nachts kouder dan buiten, de Kreuners. This is the back. They had a big hit in Belgium, Zij heeft stijl, and they are still touring nowadays. With some people have changed from the original crew, but the singer is the same and the guitar player is also the same, just the bass player is someone else. On the drums the same man, I think, Ben Krabbe. The Kreuners, very nice music. They sing in Flemish. Then we have here the band of Arno, who died. RIP, rest in peace my boy. T-Sematic debut album with very nice songs on it. With You, The Parrot Brigade, Viva Booma, and of course Oh La La La, their big breakthrough hit. So these are debut albums, all the first albums of these bands. The Skeps, in the beginning they were more punky and I liked it a lot, but then they changed to rock and blues rock, and I don't like that as much as I like it more a bit punky and with energy in it, more energy. I find that. Here's to you, gang of the Skeps, very good. Then the debut album of From 242, also from Belgium, with very nice music, operating tracks, Geography 2, their cult hit Human, Geography 1, Least, Inkling, Kinetics, Kampfbereit, really wonderful. This is a repress on blue vinyl. If you say From 242, you say in Belgium, of course, also the Neon Judgments. These were the two big electronic bands in the 80s in Belgium. This is their first album, 1981-1984, compilation of songs on that were on maxi, also live work, and on a tape, also music from a tape, all brought together on one album, a really nice album. Then we have Aimless Device, one of my favorite Belgian records that I own. Aimless Device from Leuven, and they made a mini album, Hard to Be Nice, with very nice tracks on it, Hyena, and yes, a friend of mine, Bart Azijn, the singer, is a friend of me on Facebook. And then the first album of Arbeid Adelt, also a Belgian band. They sing in Flemish, and this is also a special edition. And what's very nice, I will show it to you. The color of the vinyl is in the same color as that bought up. I will show it to you. This is the color, very nice, and that is the color of that bought up. Very nice. There were only 500 vinyls made of this. I think it's 500, so it's a limited edition. And then also from Flanders, Belgium, Corinthians, my favorite bands at this moment in Belgium, and they sound really good. The singer has a voice, he let me think on the voice of Stephen Murphy of Bauhaus, very specific voice, and that makes it, takes it on a higher level. When you watch other bands like Whispering Sons and all that, they are stuck on a certain level, but he, with his voice, he makes it really more interesting. The music also, they use synthesizers, bass, drums. It's really very nice. I bought this from Matthias de Bakker. I know he's a friend also of me on Facebook. I bought this from him recently. You see, on colored vinyl. Corinthians. Certainly a band that you must check out on YouTube. There are videos from concerts, and it's really nice. Corinthians, certainly a band that will climb up the stairs of the music world. We go on. Fat Gadget. Yeah, fantastic, a milestone in music. Fireside Favorites, his first album with State of the Nation, Coitus Interruptus, Newsreel, The Box. Really nice. Then we have the debut album of John Fox, Metamatic. John Fox, he was first in Ultravox, and then he went solo, yes, under his own name, John Fox. And he had a big hit with Underpass. I like it very much. Then we have OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, and this is one of the first ever organization albums. I think it was on the first 500. They came with 7-inch from the 78 tapes, live recorded at the factory. That were their first, from the first concert. You get here that on a 7-inch. And this was also my first record I ever had. I have this in, but another version, the normal version, without the 7-inch. This with the 7-inch I found on a flea market, and I was very, very happy, because you don't find that often. With, of course, the big hit Enola Gay on it. Then another fantastic album. This is Ultravox, but I think this is the bug, because I now realize this was maybe their big first hit, but it's not a debut album. This is the bug. Sorry, Vienna from Ultravox. I thought it was their first album, but now I realize you have that album where they are standing like dolls on it, the 4 members of Ultravox. But nevertheless a very nice record, but not a debut record. Then we have Dave Ball, a debut record, in strict tempo. On this album, really wonderful. He has guest vocals of Genesis P.O.H. You have guest vocals of Gavin Friday. An album I was so happy when I found this years and years ago. And the next debut album, I found it last Sunday, thanks to Dirk Evers of the Clinic. I could buy it from him. Heartbeat, the first album of Chris and Cozy. Really, really nice. I like a lot the track on second track on the B-side, Useless Information. Then we go on. Liaison Dangerous, their debut album. And on this, of course, we have their big hit Los Niños del Parque, et Mystère dans le brouillard. Then, also a milestone in electronic music, the first album of Cabaret Voltaire, with a cover of the Seeds on it, No Escape. And yes, it's really, really, that was really a revolutionary record. Mix-up. No Nag 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 on this debut album. Then from Germany we have DAF, Deutsche Amerikanische Freundschaft, with Robert Girl et Gabi, and on this record the legendary song Der Mussolini. Then we have the debut album of Anne Clark, The Sitting Room. Really nice, the beginning of the success of Anne Clark. And then really a very, very good debut album, The Stranglers for Rattis Norvegicus. What an album, what an album. I will show you the inner sleeve. What an album. Each track is better than the other track, is better and better and better. So we have Sometimes, Goodbye Toulouse, London Lady, Princess in the Streets, Hanging Around, Peaches, Get a grip on yourself, ugly and down in the sewer. Really one of the best ever debut albums that came out. Also a fantastic debut album, the Sex Pistols, now in the news with that with those series. There's no series pistol around the Sex Pistols. Johnny Rotten doesn't like it. He is angry. They didn't ask him his advice and all that, and so there is now a big leap between Johnny Rotten and Steve Jones, and that's a shame, because they were all good friends and now they are no friends anymore. It's a bit sad, but the music that stays forever, the Sex Pistols, and never mind the Bollocks. When you say the Sex Pistols, you say of course the debut album also of the Ramones, really good, a historic milestone record, certainly for America, the Ramones, and a milestone record for England, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, their really great first album. On this album you find She's Lost Control, Wilderness, Interzone, Disorder, Day of the Lords, New Dawn Fates. Really nice. Also really nice, this one, Magazine, Real Life, fantastic debut album, shot by both sides, the great beauty in the sky, the light pours out of me, Motorcade, fantastic. Then the Cramps debut album, also legendary, Songs the Lord Taught Us. And this one, who knows this record? You don't see it often on record fairs, but it's the debut album of Simple Minds, Live in a Day. Very beautiful cover, and on this record you have really nice songs. Chelsea Girl, I like it, and of course the title of in a song, Live in a Day, very good. And when you say Simple Minds, you say of course U2. U2, their debut album, Boy, fantastic. I still find this the best U2 that was ever there. The U2 from the Boy period. The very first songs, fantastic. Twilight, I Will Follow, classic rock songs, beautiful. And when we have had Simple Minds and U2, we may also talk about Big Country, fantastic group. This was their first album, The Crossing, with Chance was on that first album. Really nice guitars. When you like the guitars and the guitar, really heavenly guitars, you get it here with Big Country on The Crossing. Also very nice guitars, Rockabilly, that are the Stray Cats, their debut album. On that album, Rock This Town, their big hit. And then R.E.M., their debut album, also fantastic. All the titles on the back of the cover, they don't correspond with the songs on the vinyl, but we have really great songs on this already. Radio Free Europe, and West of the Fields, it talk about the passion. Really great album. And then a group that is still active, Echo and the Bunnymen, their debut album Crocodiles, really nice. And also a band that's still on the road, Jesus and Mary Chain, Psycho Candy. A lot, they made a wall of noise, but beautiful noise, beautiful songs. The Hardest Walk, I like it a lot. Jesus and Mary Chain. And a band that's also on the road, still on the road. I hope to see them soon, this year or one of the coming years, the Godfathers, their first fantastic debut album, Bird School Work Death. And then the debut album, I found it last week on the record fair in Antwerp, the debut album of Black Sabbath, also a milestone in rock history, and yeah, also in hard rock, in the hard rock history, Black Sabbath. And then Pink Floyd, their debut album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Fantastic, man. Now they are repressings. I think the quality is much better of the sound than on here, but of course this is really a 1967 copy from that album. I see our time is running up. Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? It exists with 2 different covers. The later edition had more grey cover, grey-blue cover. Then Blind Faith. This record exists also in 2 versions. The first one was with a girl who don't wore clothes with an aeroplane in silver. They changed it and they made this cover. Blind Faith, fantastic band. And then we come to the last albums. This album, you know, of course, The Velvet Underground. I find it also one of the best debut albums ever. Velvet Underground with the cover, legendary cover Banana of Andy Warhol. Here we see Andy Warhol, great artist. Here, very nice. And The Velvet Underground live at the back of the records. On this record, really, I like a lot Sunday Morning, Venus and Furs, fantastic, Femme Fatale, very nice, I'll Be Your Mirror, very nice, really nice, The Velvet Underground. And then the debut album of Iron Butterfly. They made history also for making that wonderful rock song Inagada da Vida. Really one of the songs of the late 60s there in America, at the West Coast. I think they were from LA, like the Doors. The Iron Butterfly, and really nice record. And we close the show with the debut album of the Outsiders from Holland. I found this in a record shop in Antwerp some months ago, and I could not let it go. I knew the Outsiders a bit, let's say. I knew that Wally Tax was a member, was a singer I think of the Outsiders, and Wally Tax went solo, and he had some hits. Wally Tax, He has Miss Wonderful, I think that was a hit of Wally Tax, and I had some I think I have some 7 inches of Wally Tax, but I had in the past an album of Wally Tax, but I don't have it anymore, and that I regret, because those records, I think they are expensive, and you don't find them a lot. Maybe in Holland you will find them, in the Netherlands, because the outsiders are from the Netherlands. So these were all the debut albums I had in my collection. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel, because new videos of vinyls will come. I think on my electronic records, I think on 12 inches, best of 12 inches, and yeah, no limits, everything is possible. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, and tell your friends that you saw a nice video. Maybe saw the 2 nice videos today. Video 1, my 50 great records, and now video 2, the 40 debut albums. This was Jason Basson, and you see and hear me in the next video. Thanks, and stay tuned for new videos, and listen and buy vinyl records, so you support the vinyl community, vinyl shops and all that, because vinyl is the best CD. They cut off the lows and highs. Only on vinyl you hear the complete sound, you hear the real full analog sound, and that's the best sound, and that's really what's on that record. That's really the music that the artist wanted you to hear, and with CD you lose a lot. Thank you very much. Bye bye.